Greetings, everybody. Welcome to Liberty Call. Today is Thursday, April 27, 2023. I hope everybody's having a fantastical day out there in the interwebs. I'm feeling better today. I had a bit of an upset stomach earlier in the week, and I think I figured out what it is. Red dye number 40. It tears up my guts, and I thought I had cut most of it out of my life, but the Benadryl, or the Walgreens fake Benadryls that I take from time to time, because it's really dry out here, and makes your nose itchy and your eyes runny, and that has red 40. And I was taking some over the weekend, and I could not figure out Monday evening and Tuesday morning why I felt like crap. Well, there it is. It's probably why I wound up in the hospital last fall with low sodium, because I had malabsorption, so it was tearing up my guts. Anyways, you didn't come here to hear about my stomach troubles, but it's always good to kind of troubleshoot and figure out what's wrong with you when you can't figure it out. All right. Anyways, if it's your first time watching Liberty Call, I'm glad you're here. We're going to talk about what happened in the markets today and some economic data. The GDP came out. We got some jobs data. And well, that's pretty much about it. The market took that news and ran with it. It seemed, yesterday the market was up most of I guess the first half of the day, and then it went to crap. The Microsoft earnings couldn't keep the market up. But today, everything's up, 2% or 1.5%, 2%. Let me scroll down the globe and see. Yeah, good numbers. I see tons of green across the screen. So if it's your first time here, like I said, thanks for being here. And please, if you could, give me some thumbs up, likes, shares, and subscribes. I would greatly appreciate it. Let's go ahead and jump into the numbers. All right. Dow Jones was up 1.57%, 524 points, closed at 33,826. S&P 500 was up 1.94%, closed at 4134. NASDAQ was up 2.43%. Closed at 12,142. It's back up above 12,000. The VIX was down 10.62%. It's currently holding at around 1684. Canada was up 0.77. Brazil was up 0.43. And Mexico was up 0.87. Jumping across the Atlantic, Germany was flat, up 0.03. The UK was down 0.27. France was up 0.23. Netherlands was up 0.4. Spain was up 0.22. Italy was up 0.19. Switzerland was flat, down 0.03, and Portugal up 0.83. Russian exchanges were both in the green. MOEX was up 0.99. RTSI was up 1.32. And the Asian markets overnight, the Nikkei in Japan was up 0.14. Australia down 0.32. New Zealand down 0.26. China in the Chinese markets, the Shanghai was up 0.67. The Shenzhen Component up 0.28. China A50 up 1.09%, DJ Shanghai up 0.66, Hang Seng up 0.42, and the Taiwan weighted was up 0.24%. All right, so like I said, everyone has seemed to take this news, especially in the European and domestic markets, and just ran with it. So I don't know. Maybe people are going to, I'm hoping people aren't going to get out on ahead of their skis and wind up, eating it and just making a mess of things. But again, be careful, people. Right now, things are in a very precarious position. You got one side that wants the Fed to stop raising rates, start printing money, easy money and credit, which, it's not terrible for the economy, in the short run. That's what they did after the housing crisis. They printed a bunch of money. I think at the time it was only maybe $1 or $2 trillion. This time I think it was 4 or 5 trillion. I'd have to go back and look up the exact numbers, but it was a huge amount. And we can look at what has happened after the fact and know that this was not a good thing to do. But it's like crackheads, or heroin. It's like, I'll do whatever for a rock. I've got to keep it clean here. There might be a few kids watching. So, all right, let's go ahead and jump into today's market recap. S&P 500 in rally mode as Meta shines on earnings stage. All right. On Thursday, S&P 500 experienced a surge as Meta Platforms, the parent company of Facebook, reported better than expected quarterly results, sending its shares up more than 15%. The upbeat quarterly results and guidance from Meta signal a transition, quote, from a cost cut to a revenue recovery story, end quote, according to Credit Suisse. The positive news from Meta continued the trend of strong earnings from mega cap tech companies, boosting sentiment in the sector. Alphabet, Apple, and Microsoft also gains as well. The earnings report from Meta was followed by Hasbro and Mattel, which both reported better than expected quarterly results, with the latter attributed to the, quote, favorable timing of shipments at the end of the quarter, end quote. according to Goldman Sachs. Caterpillar Inc. reported quarterly results that exceeded estimates, while Honeywell International posted better than expected earnings, leading to a 4% gain in its shares. In contrast, First Republic Bank experienced a 30% decline from the previous day. But the market appears to have stabilized despite reports that U.S. government will not intervene in its rescue. Energy stocks also regained their losses as oil prices steadied, and quarterly results from ExxonMobil and Chevron are due Friday. Yeah, the reason I chuckled about the First Republic Bank is if you're someone who goes onto Reddit and follows Wall Street Bets or any of those sorts of investing subs, they've been making fun of people who've been buying into First Republic over the last few days and just losing their butts. And I mean, I guess these people think it's going to recover, and they're buying it, a diamond in the rough. I don't know. I'd be careful, folks. All right. In other news, cannabis stocks, including Canopy Growth, Tilray, and Kronos Group, gained after U.S. lawmakers reintroduced a bill that aims to allow banks to legally offer services to marijuana companies. The day of gains for the market came after the data revealed that the economy slowed more than expected in the first quarter. The surge in Meta shares and the positive earnings reports from other companies have improved investor sentiment and could potentially lead to a sustained rally in the tech sector. The earnings season is ongoing, and market watchers will be paying attention to upcoming reports from Amazon, which reports its earnings after the market closes today, and other major companies. All right. So again, it's more positive news today, but all we got to do is look back to 2008. There were times where the market seemed like it was going to recover. Everything seemed fine. Granted, I was only 2 years into the business. Well, shit, probably not even that. I guess I was 2 years in the business at that point, but wet behind the ears. I was listening to my mentors as far as how to build portfolios and keep people out of trouble. And it worked really well at the time. And, granted, now I got more than a decade on top of that as far as seasoning. So I don't get so stressed out when these things start to fall apart. But all right, next up is U.S. economic growth slows in the first quarter as businesses draw down inventories. All right. The U.S. economy grew less than expected in Q1 of 23 with an annualized growth rate of 1.1% compared to the 2% or 2.6% in the previous quarter, Q4 of last year, due to an offset in the acceleration of consumer spending by businesses liquidating inventories in the anticipation of weaker demand later this year amid higher borrowing costs. The drop in inventories is good news for the economy and as a correction of the inventory bloat that was expected to result in a sharper economic downturn. The decline is potentially good news for the economy this quarter as it faces a possible recession by year end. Residential investment recorded its 8th consecutive quarterly drop, although the pace of decline slowed considerably from October through December period. Government spending picked up. Yeah, that's always a good thing. Spend more money that's not yours. While a smaller trade deficit contributed to GDP growth for the fourth quarter in a row, excluding inventories, trade, and government spending. The economy grew at a 2.9% rate, the fastest since the second quarter of 21, driven by a 3.7% rate of increase in consumer spending, which was fueled by stronger wage growth and a rise in government social benefits. Yeah, again, that's fake money. All you're doing is churning it through the government and handing it right back out to people, and just makes us broker in the long run. However, retail sales declined in February and March, and wage gains are slowing, although consumer spending remains underpinned by a tight labor market characterized by a 3.5% unemployment rate. Reduced access to credit for businesses and households is seen hurting demand and ultimately hiring. The acceleration was accompanied by a rise in inflation, which may lead to the Fed to raise interest rates again by another 25 basis points next week. Well, I'm not going to be upset. I mean, yeah, there's something. I mean, right now is not the greatest time for me to be, paying higher interest rates. But it's for the good of the economy, and we had obscenely low rates for so long. It's just ridiculous. All right, last up, jobs data. U.S. jobless claims inch lower to 230,000. It's pretty short. I'm just going to breeze through the top part here. Initial claims for unemployment insurance in the U.S. economy declined from a week ago levels as workforce remains resilient against lingering inflation pressures, data published Thursday shows. Labor Department reported that first-time claims for unemployment were 230,000 during the 7-day period ending April 22nd, a decline of 16,000 from the prior week. The less volatile 4-week moving average showed a decline of 4,000 to 236,000. The amount of people receiving financial support because of unemployment was 1.86 million, 3,000 lower than last week. Let's see here. The 4-week moving average was 1.836,500 in an increase of 10,250 from the previous week's revised average, the Labor Department reported. This is the highest level for this average since December of 21, when it was 1.838 million at the time. And the rest of this is just more GDP data. So, all right. Well, that is some good news. I mean, unemployment still hasn't gotten too out of control. I imagine that it'll probably be, the market will already bottomed out by the time unemployment really starts to become a major problem. And that's when companies are going to be scrambling, slashing payroll, clearing overhead so they can stay in business. But for now, if you got a job, enjoy it, save your ducats, and set aside some rainy day funds, food, things like that, ammo. You never know when the Republic's going to come ripping apart, and you're going to have to defend yourself from the bad people. I'll just leave it at that. All right. Well, hope everyone has a wonderful evening. I will be back tomorrow. If anyone needs anything from me, please go to dsafinancialgroup.com. All my contact information's there. Like I said, hope you have a great night, and I'll talk to you next time. Adios.